Tonight, the community remembers the life of a son, student, and friend.
You know, we have a rough road coming up.
MU student Riley Strain's body recovered from the Cumberland River in Nashville.
If he was 2 blocks away from us and they were walking him to us, it wasn't quick enough. We want him 2 inches in front of us.
Now, the road to recovery begins, along with a clear message.
I just ask that you mamas out there hug your babies tight tonight, please. Please, for me.
Tragedy tying together Mid-Missouri and Nashville.
We have a family of our own, and our kids have supported us the whole way.
This is KMU 8 News at 10.
Coverage you can count on. KOMU 8 News starts now.
Family and friends of MU student Riley Strain gathered in Nashville tonight to remember his life. Good evening, everyone. I'm Evie Allen. Thanks so much for joining us tonight. They held a candlelight vigil after his body was found in the Cumberland River earlier today. Now, this marks the end of an exhaustive 14-day search. Strain went missing while attending his fraternity's spring formal in Nashville. Strain's godfather says the closure his family got today is rare.
We're blessed because a lot of people are put in this situation that unfortunately have bad outcomes and they never get their loved one back. She does have her son knowing where he is, and we get to take him home.
He added the publicity the case got worldwide is drawing new attention and leads to missing persons cases that remain unsolved. Friends in Strain's hometown of Springfield are processing the news. He graduated from Kickapoo High School. Now, the principal says it's an emotional day for staff and people who loved and knew Strain. He says he remembers him as a happy-go-lucky kid who was sweet and had an outgoing personality. Staff at Kickapoo say Strain had a tight-knit group of friends at the school and at MU. Now, it was at 7:38 this morning when Nashville Metro Police responded to a report of a body found in the Cumberland River. Shortly after, they confirmed the body was of missing MU student Strain. KMU 8's Michelle Renee Quinn takes a look back at the efforts to find him.
2 weeks of searching has come to an end. The body of MU student Riley Strain was found in the Cumberland River, 8 miles from downtown Nashville.
There are no signs of foul play at this time, according to the examination here at the riverbank.
The search began on March 9th, the day after Strain was in Nashville with his fraternity brothers. That night, he was kicked out of a downtown bar. He was supposed to go back to the hotel and never made it. He was reported missing the next day.
We're here on a fraternity formal trip. It's one of my good buddies.
Over the next few days, police and a local business released surveillance video of Strain walking through downtown, stumbling in the opposite direction of the hotel. Police body cam even caught a brief encounter with Strain the night he went missing.
I'm good. How are you?
As Nashville deals with national headlines about this case, its mayor shared thoughts on the safety along the river.
I've walked this stretch for decades, and I could certainly imagine there being barriers that made it harder to get from the sidewalk into the areas of growth that are right there along the riverbank.
Several agencies helped in the search, including the Tennessee Wildlife Resources Agency, the United Cajun Navy, and countless volunteers. Earlier this week, 2 volunteer searchers found Strain's bank card near the river.
We brought gloves.
And Friday, Nashville Metro received a call and were able to identify the body.
Mr. Strain still had the shirt on that he was wearing, still had the watch, and other identifying factors that helped us identify who he is.
Michelle Renee Quinn, KOMU 8 News.
Strain's fraternity, Delta Chi, released a statement today. It says, quote, "Our hearts go out to Riley's family and loved ones during this incredibly difficult time as we work to provide support and resources to all those affected by this tragedy." The fraternity also says it's working with University of Missouri officials to make sure its local chapter members have access to campus support resources. University President Moon Choi sent out an email to campus highlighting the mental health resources for students, faculty, and staff. The university spokesperson is encouraging community members to not try to cope with this on their own. You can find links to the resources at KOMU.com.
Well, this afternoon we saw a cold front move through the last few hours, which I'll detail with some rain chances coming up.
One of Columbia's beloved leaders died this week. Former mayor and city council member Bob Pugh died Monday morning in Columbia. That's according to our partners at the Columbia Missourian. Pugh's son and granddaughter made the announcement today on Facebook. His family calls him a, quote, unwavering pillar of the community. The family says a celebration of his life will be announced at a later date. He was 84 years old. A Columbia bar shut down last May went up in flames overnight. Fire crews were called to the scene of the old Plush Lounge bar on Business Loop 70 East. The building sits between Club Vogue and a small apartment. Fire officials tell us nearby buildings suffered smoke and water damage. An employee with Club Vogue says there might have been some inside the building, someone there, and that person might have caused the fire. The assistant fire chief says he also heard reports of the unhoused using the building as shelter, but there is no word if this is the cause of the fire. The Columbia Police Department is investigating a shooting at Cosmo Bethel Park this afternoon. A CPD spokesperson says a male victim was found with non-life-threatening gunshot wounds on Willowbrook Court. CPD is working to find out why the victim left the park and traveled to Northeast Columbia. When officers responded to the scene around 2:15, they found shell casings. The spokesperson says the investigation is preliminary and active, and no one is currently in custody. A judge scheduled preliminary hearings for two former members of the Cooper County Sheriff's Department. The pair faced charges in connection with the death of an inmate. Brooke Bailey was found dead in her jail cell from untreated diabetes in October. Hearings for former Cooper County Lieutenant Robin Pfeiffer and Court Deputy Rachel Atherton are scheduled for May. The women are charged with involuntary manslaughter. Witnesses say Bailey told jail staff she needed medical attention multiple times but was ignored. Bailey's daughter says she was horrified after reading the court documents detailing her mother's death.
It took me a while to read it because there's so much that goes on behind closed doors, and what they really did to her was terrifying, and I bet she felt alone and felt like nobody was there for her.
She says she will continue to support her mother and plans to be at all future court cases. State Medicaid application processing exceeded federal limits for the third straight month. Federal limits require low-income household applications to be processed within 45 days, but that wait time as 49 days in December and 64 days in January. Median wait times for low-income Missouri residents reached 77 days last month. Over 41% of Missouri applications exceeded federal limits, the third highest state percentage in the country. Long wait times mean low-income Missourians could go months without health insurance. The U.S. Senate continued its debate tonight on a $1.2 trillion package of spending bills. Although it's expected senators will approve it, Republicans and Democrats were at odds over opposed amendments. Early in the day, the House approved that funding bill to avoid a partial government shutdown this weekend. During the debate in the House, Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene filed a motion to oust Speaker Mike Johnson. She says Johnson betrayed the trust of House Republicans by passing today's spending bill.
This is a betrayal of the American people. This is a betrayal of Republican voters. And the bill that we were forced to vote on forced Republicans to choose between funding to pay our soldiers and in doing so, funding late-term abortion.
It's not yet clear how the House will act on Greene's motion. The practical impacting a funding lapse in the near term would be minimal, with federal offices closed for the weekend and many government agencies funded already. The Islamic State is claiming responsibility for an attack at a concert hall in Moscow. Russia says the attack killed 60 people and injured 145 others. Video posted on social media shows huge plumes of black smoke rising over the building. Several gunmen burst into the hall, spraying visitors with automatic gunfire. Russian news reports say the assailants threw explosives, triggering a massive blaze. Now, the attack took place as crowds gathered for a concert at the hall that can accommodate over 6,000 people. It comes as Russia launched one of its biggest missile barrages against Ukraine. The missiles mainly targeted energy infrastructure across the country. You can see emergency workers digging through the rubble in the southeast of the country. According to regional authorities, over 1 million households were without power. The attacks killed 3 people and injured dozens more. In a video, Ukraine's President Vladimir Zelensky blamed the devastation on delays in aid from countries like the U.S. President Joe Biden's top diplomat was in Israel today as the United Nations Security Council rejected a U.S.-led ceasefire resolution in Gaza. Both China and Russia rejected the resolution, which tied the ceasefire to the release of hostages. It all comes amid growing friction between the White House and the Israeli government over Israel's military operations in Gaza. The U.S. ambassador to the UN slammed Russia and China for getting in the way of peace. Kate Middleton made a public appearance through a video after months of speculation. After the break, the new concerns about the princess's health. And Donald Trump's social media site makes a major change, how it could help the former president.